So as it turns out, the student loans that I've been paying $1,500 a month for 2 years have a 17% interest rate.
I am over $100,000 in debt because of student loans.
There was a girl on here, they had $600K in student loans, bro.
So today we're going to be taking a look at some really bad debt, specifically student loans. I don't have to tell you how popular of a topic this is to talk about right now, especially because it's something you can't really escape. You can't go bankrupt and start over with this kind of debt. On top of that, the payments starting up again, interest accruing every single day. And yeah, people have a lot to say about it. We have many examples to go over today, along with some comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's start off with a loan that has a 17% interest rate.
So as it turns out, the student loans that I've been paying $1,500 a month for 2 years have a 17% interest rate. So what I thought I've been paying off for all this time, I'm actually, I owe more than what I started off with. What the f***? So Jeff Bezos, this would be a really cool time to Venmo me, bro. I owe $90,000 and I didn't even spend that much on school. Any rich person, please tap in. Kourtney Kardashian, you probably have 8 houses. I'm never gonna be able to buy one because I went to college. I just signed up to be an egg donor. Guess what? Got approved. Who wants my kids? I can't afford them, so start a bidding war. Just take them. What do you want? My left arm too? What the f am I supposed to do? I'm gonna be in debt for my whole f***ing life.
17% interest rate on student loans. We're not talking about bad car payments, because we're getting into that territory with that APR. We could take a look at some of the comments first. And kids, remember, it's okay to go to community college. I graduated with $150,000 in student loans. They're now up to over $300,000 due to interest. Accumulates $48 per day. Now I know both sides of the argument. You signed up for it, you have to pay it back. At the same time, we had to make this decision when we weren't even really adults yet, 17, 18 years old, just getting out of high school, while also getting beat into our heads that we had to go to college. This goes well with a comment from one of you guys. The biggest scam ever was teachers telling people they need to go to university education. Many of my friends went into the trades, plumbing, auto mechanic, carpentry in high school, and a further 2 years in college. Total debt for trade schools around $10,000. What will we always need? Trades. Now I can't talk about what's currently happening in high schools in 2025, but at least around the time that I graduated, everything was about going into corporate America, having that nice cushy job that you're supposed to be getting a good salary in an air-conditioned building. There was no talk about trade schools, and that you absolutely had to go get a bachelor's degree at one of these big college or universities, or you'd basically be making no money for the rest of your life. And now we're seeing some people who are in debt from those schools for the rest of their lives. We have a screenshot right here. Tell me how much you owe in student loans so I feel better, please. $160,000 without interest. Since I'm not interested, I actually owe $0. You might be a little bit more interested when they start garnishing your wages, but $44,000 started at $60,000. Not one time did someone sit me down and calculate what my payments would be when I graduated, or explain compounding interest. They just said you'll get a good job and pay it back, no problem. I feel like that's what everybody heard in their high school days, including myself. $386,000 graduating in May. It'll be $2,600 a month for 20 years to pay it off. $76,000. I've never missed a payment, but I owe more than the day I graduated. Over $150,000. I pretend they don't exist. My original loan was $67,000, paid over $102,000, and still owe $58,000. I'll have around $600,000 in a couple years. Hope this helps. Another video up on screen with all the different loans. In total, $550,401. $467,000 here with already $73,000 in interest. Suddenly my $32,000 isn't bad. This kind of stuff makes the credit card debt and the high car payment videos not look that bad.
I'd like to know what type of Sallie Mae is smoking that they think for the amount of $40,922 they should receive back $118,305.59. Well, I understand that this is an estimated cost. The fact that for financing the money, they want $77,383.59 is asinine. Now, back in my day when I was in college, I don't even think I paid that much for the 4 years I went to school. So to think they should get that for 1 year of schooling is insane. And I get it. If this is the fixed interest rate, 13.500%, and then the APR is 13.474%. But then they got the audacity to tell me that to finance this $40,922, they should receive $77,303.59.
We're going to see some Sallie Mae loans a little bit later in this video, but for one single year on top of the 40 grand it already cost to go to that university, the interest when it's all said and done will be an extra 77 grand. I truly don't even know what I would do because I've told you guys in previous videos that was one of my big mistakes. I racked up a little bit over $20,000 worth of student debt and I didn't even get a degree. I was a community college dropout and I made bad choices with my degree on top of it, changing majors, just wasting more time and money in the end. And I know that $20,000 isn't a lot compared to what we're going to see today, but I knew that there was no other way around it and I had to pay it back even though I basically got nothing for it in the end.
So what's your name, age, and what's your major?
My name is Sydney. I'm 17 and my major is Cinema and Media Studies.
How'd you pick that major?
I took a film class in high school and I really liked it, so I wanted to apply here.
And what do you hope to do with that major in the future?
I'm not completely sure. I think I would love to make films, but also I do like the analyzing part of it as well. So
Do you currently make films right now?
not right now, but I have throughout the past year.
And do you have any student loans?
Yes.
Would you be willing to share like how much student loans you have?
$20K for this semester.
Yeah. Is that scary? Like, how do you want to approach tackling that debt?
That's very scary to think that after college I'm gonna have a lot of loans and just be in a lot of debt and it affecting, I guess, like my credit and things like that as I go on.
So I assume you're just going to work after college and then like take a portion of that money and pay the debt off slowly?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay, so before I say anything, we can look at a couple of the comments. Yikes, a waste of money for that degree at that school. Girl is lost. She's going to be in for a rude awakening when she graduates. Useless degree, waste of time and money. Now she's going to USC, which is a very popular film school. She racked up $20,000 for that semester, which honestly I don't think is that bad for USC. That's one of the universities that's incredibly expensive. I gotta look it up. 2025 estimate cost of attendance for USC is $73,260 a year. So this could get way worse in the future. I'm not going to lie, I was in somewhat of a similar situation with her degree. I initially went to community college for exercise science until I realized that I didn't want to be a personal trainer or anything like that. I just like working out a lot. I ended up switching to biology because I basically didn't really know what to do. Again, wasting more time and money. And before I finally dropped out, I switched over to photography because I wanted to look into a film degree, but the community college that I was at didn't really have anything available other than photography. So I just took that, again, another pretty useless degree, until I finally called it quits and racked up 5 figures worth of debt. Now, I guess in the end, it all worked out because I only really picked film because I enjoyed making YouTube videos. I've been making them since 2010. If you truly want to be a professional photographer or a cinematographer, anything with film, you do not need to go to a university to study. You just need to do it. Maybe look some stuff up online. You need to do much more hands-on type of work instead of spending possibly $73,000 a year to go to USC for them to teach you what to do.
Loan balance is at 4%. I see $20,000, $6,400, $29,000, and $41,000. What are those things? Oh, those are student debt.
Yeah.
This is just student debt? This page? Oh, no, we have a credit card as well. These are all individual federal student loans?
No.
They're all from Sallie Mae.
But at 4%?
Not all of them.
4 of them are. The other 4 are not.
We had to split payments between my father and I. So I pay a portion and he pays a portion.
Why does your dad pay?
Because they're the ones that took it out to begin with.
They're co-signed under him.
Oh, they're co-signed. Death. Okay.
And I think the total minimum monthly payments are around $2,000
a month.
4 of the loans are at 4%, but the other 4 are variable interest rates, and they're probably close to like 13.5%, almost 14% right now.
I mean, we see 13 or 14% on car payments. We all lose our minds. So that being attached to student loan debt is even worse. But we have another comment from one of you guys. I think the best compromise isn't full loan forgiveness, but a stop to the accruing interest. I've been paying more than the minimum payments every month, including during the pandemic, and I've already paid more than what I originally borrowed and still owe more than half of my loans because the interest that accrued. And we're going to hear about that exact issue many more times in this video, including this next clip.
Taking out student loans was the single-handedly worst mistake I've ever made in my entire life. At this point, like, a college education is pointless. It was pointless. I've been paying on my student loans for more than 13 years now, and I've more than paid back the amount that I took out, and then some because of interest. And there's all this like misinformation and false hope around forgiveness and qualifying payments.
So I don't think I have to tell you that the forgiveness is just not happening. I believe it was less than 1% of people got forgiven overall. And I guess there were many people who were banking on that 5 or 6 figures worth of debt to just vanish. And now they are in for a rude awakening, because on top of having to pay that off, the interest is brutal. I mean, if you have $100,000 worth of debt, even on the low end with a 3 or 4% interest rate, that turns into you paying a lot more money than you originally thought down the road. I mean, just imagine being in this situation.
There was a girl on here, they had $600K in student loans, bro. That is $600,000. Yo! I am so glad when I graduated high school that I went to community college at first and then transferred to university. Thank God for that FAFSA, because I would have not gone to school. I'm telling y'all, if I did not have financial aid, I would have not gone to school. Like, I'm so, like, bro, with financial aid, college is so expensive, y'all. You know, Harvard back then in the 80s and 70s was $4,000. Now Harvard is $80,000.
And if you want to look it up yourself, almost every single college or university year after year increases their tuition. So this problem is only going to get worse in the future. Now, I will say I've seen an increasing amount of people talking about degrees that they're getting from these prestigious universities or just plain old colleges, right? No matter what, it's pretty expensive at the end of the day. But some of the degrees that these people are going for, you really just have to know, even if it's in the back of your mind, it's going to be pretty difficult to dig yourself out of this hole because of the lack of jobs when it comes to the degree you got.
Today, I'm graduating from Columbia with an MFA in acting. I did acting in high school, but I thought I wanted to do medicine, but, you know, things went a little different than I thought, and so the program I was in talked to us about like a master's in acting, and I thought it sounded really cool, so auditioned, and 3 years later, here we are.
What kind of job can you get when you graduate?
Well, hopefully acting, you know, that is it's a professional degree, like very much catered to that. So yeah, acting.
How much could you make in this field?
The luck, unfortunately, is a really big part. So, you know, maybe you happen to break super big, like then, you know, you'd be making a lot, or maybe it'll take a little bit, you know, so it's a little tough to say.
We'll look at the comment section for this video before I say anything. I'll have a venti cappuccino with oat milk and extra foam. Brother based his $200,000 loan purchase on luck. That's crazy. Imagine spending $150K to be an actor. Can he act like a guy that makes eye contact? I noticed that as well, a little odd. Don't need a degree to act. I mean, there were tons of comments like that. I'll take a number 6 with fries and a cola. Just a pup cup for the little guy, please. Bro went to Columbia and got a degree in acting. Target night manager for the kids department. I mean, people were brutal, but in the same way that if you truly want to be a professional photographer or a filmmaker, add on top of it being an actor. You don't really need to get a degree to be able to work in the field. You just need to prove how capable you are in the real world. And a lot of the times, especially acting, that means moving to Los Angeles, going through all the auditions, and just trying to network with as many people as possible. It notoriously takes a very long time to try to carve your own path in the acting world, and I think putting yourself 6 figures into debt and losing 4 years going to Columbia University puts you behind the 8 ball even more. This creator interviewed a lot of people from Columbia University. We've gone over some clips previously. There's one up on screen where somebody got a bachelor's degree in comparative literature, and the more he talked about the degree, the less likely it looked like he was actually going to get a job because of what he studied, and then they were just going trying to get their master's in it because they didn't really know what to do, just racking up more and more student debt. The price in 2023 to go to Columbia University was $69,045. So probably getting close to that $70,000 mark again for a degree that will be very difficult to find a job, especially in this market. But I still see clips like this up on screen. My biggest regret is not taking out student loan debt and going to an out-of-state college. Because with some of these crazy figures that we're seeing, this is the reason why some people ended up taking out that debt. They just wanted the college experience far away from their home. Partying, getting hammered, not living with your parents anymore, hopefully making new friends. But we'll take a look at some of the comments. I'm currently about $30,000 in debt from an out-of-state college, and I've only made one real friend so far. Grass is always greener on the other side. Why would you even want debt? I don't want debt. I want the experience that usually comes with going to an out-of-state college, which I can't do without loans. Is it really worth possibly putting yourself in one of these situations we're watching just to make a few friends out of state compared to going to community college and then maybe going to another college that's closer and would clearly be cheaper because you're an in-state student? I don't know, it seems like a crazy decision to me.
This top number is the amount of loans that I took out to get a bachelor's degree. This number under it is the amount that I owe now. Now, in the time since I graduated, I spent over 10 years of my life as a social worker. I investigated child abuse and worked with teenage mental health. I have spent years serving my community. Now, during that time, I never made, although the work I did was very important, I never made over $15 an hour. So when I was on an income-based repayment plan, the amount that I could afford to pay apparently was never enough to even cover the monthly interest. Now here I am. Tell me how that's fair.
Okay, look, I know that social workers deal with a lot of bad stuff, all right? It's definitely a very stressful and difficult job, but I feel like it's pretty widely known that they don't get paid nearly as much as you probably think, especially for what they have to deal with for that job. It's kind of the career path that you have to really be passionate with what you do, because you're definitely not going to be rich or even really stable if you decide to be a social worker. I know, as bad as that sounds, but it's kind of just the reality of what the job is. Because the same guy who was interviewing Columbia University graduates interviewed somebody who was going to be a social worker, and she admitted the exact same thing, spending almost $70,000 a semester, and she said that she would be making roughly $40,000 a year in that line of work. So the math just does not add up, especially when you start taking into account the interest on those loans. You're just going to put yourself in a very bad situation. We have another comment from one of you guys, Millennial here. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, it wasn't just our parents telling us to go to college, but almost every teacher in K through 12 told us if we didn't get a college degree, we would either be homeless or working at fast food for the rest of our lives. Now, I hope with these types of videos and all the other ones that are out on the internet now, I feel like with Gen Alpha, the tides are starting to change. People are starting to realize when they're 16, 17 years old, seeing these types of clips, and they decide that they don't want to follow in the same footsteps and also get trapped, again, in a very bad job market as a whole right now, because it really seems like you could find an unlimited amount of content talking about this topic.
These student loans, like the calls, are really making me regret ever going to college, considering I'm not even doing anything in my degree. But like, these calls are just a reminder that I'm like, first of all, doing nothing with my life. Second of all, broke as shit. And yes, I hee ha ha about it here, but like, it's literally not a joke. It's like embarrassing, and it's like the most stressful thing. And I never want to be the person that's like driven by money. Like, that's not me, but like sometimes I wish I was, so I wouldn't be in the position I am in. And like, dealing with these calls and having to basically say my situation, like I literally cannot pay off an amount on these damn student loans. And then the fact that they're so relentless, they call every person in my family, they call people not related to me, but like associated with me, and I don't even know how it's just crazy. And it's like, I hate it. It's like, you're coming at me for my own little debt when this country's in debt. Like, I just
Okay, now that is an argument that I've heard quite a bit as well, and I understand why people feel this way, but I've said it before. We are not on an even playing field when we talk about government debt or government spending compared to just normal everyday people. How much debt is the US in right now? A little bit over $37 trillion, which at that number we can't even really wrap our minds around it, but the government can just print out money if they wanted to. We could have our wages garnished, and much more. Like I said before, we can't just go bankrupt, try to hit the reset button with the student loans as well. They will be with you until you die. Some of the comments from this video: I wish every high school graduating student could see this message. So many kids are pressured into college and are going for the wrong reasons. The financial component is no joke and can be an anchor. I 100% agree. We have another comment from one of you guys: just paid off one of the loans in full today, which leaves me with one loan left. My student loan debt is now under $5,000. I think I'll be able to pay off the rest in full by the end of the year. So at least one positive comment in this pretty rough video, but something that always seems to follow this channel no matter what type of topic I talk about. I've started seeing people blame their student loans for them turning into the gurus, the TikTok sellers, all of those types of people.
I have so much student loan debt. My payments are like $600 a month because of how much debt I'm in. This is one of the reasons why I started digital marketing. I started digital marketing to be able to live comfortably, pay off my debt, and stay home with my kids at the same time.
So I'm just going to cut it off there. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you already know it's the same cookie cutter type of channels. Mom of three, digital marketing, another one of the buzzwords that basically means nothing now. Real estate and TikTok shop. So she's going to sell you some pretty crappy products on top of it to try to get you to use her affiliate links. And I mean, what more could I say? We'll just move on.
$10,795 student loans. What's your minimum payment? Like $125? What?
I'm not paying it. I can be honest about that. Because they've been going down on their own. So I'm thinking the government got something to do with that.
Are you sure you're
Never
not getting
paid a
an
dollar
automatic
of it.
withdrawal?
Where would they pull it from?
Garnishing your wages before they hit your account? Why are you not paying this?
You see how they're saying 2% paid off, 1% paid off?
Yes, you've probably paid some money towards it at some
That's
point.
not me. That's what I'm saying. Somebody's doing some magic right now. I was going to let the magic keep happening. Maybe Joe Biden will come take care of that like he said he would.
He tried. The Supreme Court said no.
That's why I was waiting.
What's your degree in?
Criminal justice.
Okay, why are we not working in that in any way whatsoever?
By the time I was about to walk across stage, I decided I don't want to do that no more.
Okay, but you got a degree. We can at least utilize a bachelor degree to hopefully get into, some positions, and maybe customer service positions, maybe sales positions. It helps us get in the door.
Okay, very odd situation with the student debt going down. Kind of seems like automatic withdrawal before her paycheck hits the account, but she gets a criminal justice degree and decides that that's not what she wants to do right before she graduates. So I guess you're back at square one with 5 figures worth of debt, and a lot of people now are just saying that they refuse to pay back any of these student loans. We have a comment from one of you guys: the ones refusing don't seem to understand what the word garnish means. So we could take a look at one of the, I guess, solutions to this problem, which isn't actually going to solve the problem, but we could take a look.
I'm not paying my student loans. The government keeps threatening all these things they're going to do to people if they don't pay their student loans. I don't think they realize we don't care. We don't have enough to care. We don't care about credit scores anymore. We don't care if you siphon our paychecks. We're just going to quit and move on to the next company because that company was probably going to fire us anyway. People don't stay at jobs like they used to. People aren't locked in to a job they have to stay at for 35 years because they're getting a pension and great benefits. Those things don't happen anymore. So if you threaten to siphon people's paychecks, they're just going to quit and go to another company because that company was probably going to go bankrupt anyway and fire everybody in the next couple months.
Okay, so as you could see by the comment section being turned off by the creator, you could probably guess what the reaction to this clip was. Her thought process is that she would just job hop and avoid the wage garnishment by the government, as if they can't trace each company that you would possibly go to, let alone the terrible market we're in and how difficult it is to get a job in the first place. But yeah, you would just quit every month or so and I guess be able to dodge the wage garnishment that way. It's just not really possible. There's nothing else I could really say about that clip. The government will find you if they want to.
Last night I had to log into my student loan account to print out the paperwork to have my taxes done today. So I got to get a glimpse of my student loan balance for the first time in, I don't know, presumably a year. I honestly don't remember knowing what I owed still. Now, for a point of reference, I graduated in 2011. Okay, so I've been making student loan payments for almost 14 years. I actually did the math. It was about 165 monthly student loan payments that I've made so far. My balance was like right around $125,000. Okay, 165 monthly payments on $125,000. How much do you think I still owe? $78,000. Yeah, I don't know. The math isn't mathing. Now, full disclosure, I did refinance at some point, which is a horrible idea. Like at the time, it seems like a good idea because the monthly payments are so like overwhelming, but in the long run, you're screwing yourself when you refinance a student loan. You just are.
We'll just go straight to the comments for this one. My original balance was $35,000. I paid over $49,000 the past 20 years. Still owe $10 grand. I borrowed $52,000, paid $45,000 back, and still owe $48,000. So I bought a house for $130,000. After 23 years of payments with no refinancing along the way, I paid about $275,000 in payments. That's how loans work. The majority of the principal is paid at the end. And nobody really knows that if you're 17 or 18 years old taking out all of these ludicrous loans.
I'm in my 30s and I'm almost $750,000 worth in debt. And you may ask yourself, well, how in the world did you get there? My two largest sources of debt are my student loans and my house. So my house I originally bought in 2019 for $375,000. I'm now down to $339,638. And my student loans, I graduated in 2016. I've been paying every single month since then. I originally took out a little over $200,000. I'm now at $307,870. So can you imagine? My grand total is $647,508.
Okay, so I think the mortgage is a little bit different than the student loans, but still took out $220,000 and now it's up to $307,000 while still trying to pay it off every single month. So I understand why a ton of people think that they got scammed and they're not going to pay it back, but we're going to finish off this video with some of the consequences if you do decide to refuse to pay back your loans.
Look, I get it. While that might sound appealing, you might want to know what can happen if you don't pay your student loans when payments resume. Let's talk about it. When the payments restart, if you don't pay, you can risk going into a delinquency and eventually default. The first day that you don't make a payment, your loan will be past due, which also means that it's delinquent. And if you don't make a loan payment for 270 days, which is roughly 9 months, the loan will appear on your credit report as being default. This unfortunately can affect your credit score. Once a loan is default, it could be subject to actions by the government, such as a court order to take money from your wages to put towards the loan, intercepting tax refunds, and ceasing portions of your Social Security and other benefit payments.
And one of the comments from this clip, I've already accepted that I'll never own a home and been broke all my life, so what's the point of credit? More of the doomer mentality that we've seen in my recent videos, but that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.